have two beautiful little children, three children. Two are little and one's grown. And I try every day to set that tone for empowerment that you mentioned in an email that came a couple days ago. And when
the little ones still know they're powerful.
Yes, they do. And I find, as I'm sure a lot of parents do, a sense of overwhelmment, not being quite up to speed with them in that I've encouraged them to be.
Give it up, you never will be.
So really why I'm here is that the tapes, listening to the tapes on a daily basis and just having the conversations and the point of view of the universe in my mind has been amazing for me. And I would like to have a rant that I would pre-order that I could use because the rants are probably my favorite part. But one,
you know why? Because we start in a general place. You get up to speed with that general place, and then together we move it into higher and faster and more specific vibration. That's why.
So when there's the high-pitched screaming because she's feeling the resistance in me in having her do something
our
that
friends
I need her to
often
do.
ask us the question, Abraham, I've jumped out of an airplane. I'm at 50,000 feet.
One.
I have no parachute. What do I do? And we say, just hang on, it'll be over soon. And the same thing applies in this case. Because what's happening is a grid is filling in, and there is momentum. Let's use the word momentum every time we think of grid, because your grid is your point of attraction, and it is filling in. And sometimes, because of what you've been living, you've parlayed a moment in time to a very specific momentum. And it's just better to just let that momentum happen. But that's when, as we were saying to our friend earlier, you want to prepave for the next one. So all of your parenting tools, every trick in your parenting bag of tricks, if we were standing in your physical shoes, would be held in the prepaving, in the deciding what tomorrow is going to be, rather than trying to fix the momentum of today. Because as you go general, in other words, you can't get general enough to soothe yourself in the middle of that high-pitched tantrum. You just can't. Because everything about it has you knowing what you don't want more than it has you knowing what you do want. And you just can't get there from there, not right now, this red hot minute. So just have the experience and know that, as we were saying earlier, you've put all kinds of new clarity into your vortex. And what's in there? What did that tantrum just put into your vortex? What piece of creation? What specific piece? What powerfully moving specific piece did that tantrum just put into your vortex? Can you name it?
The knowing that I need to do more to soothe my own vibration because she's a beautiful reflection of me.
That's a really good thing to say, but we don't believe that you could say it or even mean it in the middle of that tantrum.
I don't.
In other words, that's what happened in the vortex, and that is ultimately what's going on there. But specifically right now, you're putting, I'd like some peace and quiet. Specifically, you're putting, I would like more cooperation. Specifically, you're putting, I would like more cooperation from other members of the family who are in some ways exacerbating this. It didn't have to go that far. You're just shoveling it in there fast in the middle of all of that, aren't you? And so if you accept that this is not the moment in time to do something about it, but instead, as our friend was saying earlier, revel in the knowledge that your negative emotion is your indicator that good things are happening, and later you will be the recipient of those good things that are happening. Now that's what prepaving is, isn't it? Isn't prepaving anticipating future receipt of some specific manifestation that would be pleasing to you when it comes? Isn't that what prepaving really is? So you just go as general as you can. You'll just sort of relax and laugh at the inevitability of this playing out. But what you're putting in your vortex is fewer of these, more time between them, less volume when they happen, more understanding from everyone, until it won't be long until you'll be looking at that from inside the vortex through the eyes of Source, just sort of reveling in what this little one is putting in the vortex. You wouldn't want to deprive your children of what they're putting into their vortex. And yet parents keep wanting to create this perfect environment so that kids never have any contrast. But you really don't want that. And they don't want it either. And that's why they can become so specific that they are going to serve their contrast needs. Now that was big. Your children will find a way to serve their contrast needs. You just can't smooth their life out enough. So we think it's a good time to stop trying. Stop trying to provide them a contrast-free environment where all you'll do is deprive them of their ability to focus and their ability to launch good things into their vortex, and it deprives you of the opportunity of lining up with who you are. It deprives you of your opportunity of knowing and practicing and teaching unconditional love, which is alignment no matter what. So after a few days of this, you'll find yourself laughing during the tantrum. It will, and you'll be laughing for these reasons. You'll be laughing because stuff's going in the vortex and they don't know it, and it will be reminiscent of what you've been doing too. You'll be laughing because you're through the main discomfort of it. You've come out into the light so that you're looking at it through the eyes of Source. You'll be laughing because you'll be wondering why it took you so long to get to this place. When we say we want you to be happy about your own discord because it's an indication of your guidance system, we want you to be happy about your children's discord also. You want your child to have a tantrum. You really do, don't you? Do you? Don't you? Don't you? Maybe we didn't get general enough fast enough. You don't you? But don't you? Don't you want your child to be discerning? Don't you want your child to know what's wanted and what isn't wanted? Don't you want your child to know the difference between feeling good and not feeling good? Don't you want this to give you the opportunity, as it has already done, to come to this clear wanting, to stand in a stable place no matter what? Don't you want to show less of your own tantrums to your children? Your tantrums may be in lower velocity, but they are nearly as frequent. Because when you know what you don't want, you really know what you do want. And when you really know what you do want and you're not there, you're nervous, you're uncomfortable, you're fitful, you're pensive, you're sharp with your tongue, you don't smile as much, you're in a bad mood. In other words, your tantrums are maybe displayed differently, but everybody is having them. And it's a good thing. Because we would never, ever, ever, ever want any of you to acclimate to unwanted to such a degree that you don't know that you're in a place of creating something that you do not want. People say, oh, it just came out of the blue. And we say, no, it didn't. It came out of the oblivious. And the reason it came out of the oblivious is because you're not sharpening your desires, you see. So it's not only good that your child is having a tantrum, it's good that it bothers you when it happens. And now all of this is in place. There'll be far fewer of them. Because those tantrums are when you really, really, really know what you don't want. You really, really know what you do want. And if you wait and there's a big vibrational difference between one and the other, then the discord is stronger. But the coming into alignment is sweeter. We think you like the drama of it, all of you. But if you want a little less drama, then you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, you line up with it. You've got it. You know what you don't want, you know what you do want, you line up with it. You've got it. You know what you don't want, you know what you do want, you line up with it. You've got it. You can play it any way you want, you see. The kids would play it more that way if you all were not getting in their way so much. Because the universe will deliver to all of you exactly what you want. Your grids are filling in, you see.
Thanks.
One more little piece to all parents around the world. Sometimes you are a little jealous because your kids' grids are filling in faster than your own. And you think maybe you might just slow it down just a little bit and help them to know that life isn't supposed to be easy. But it is. It's supposed to be easy and it's supposed to feel good.
Yeah.
Something more?
That's it. Thank you.